We told you, what would it be, last month, something like that, about 200 people being made redundant at Nortel in Maidenhead, and this was a big shock because they all turned up for work one morning. They were called to a staff meeting at 10:30, and a lot of them were then asked to leave the building immediately. There's a protest being held in London about the way this was handled by Nortel, and David Rose, one of their former employees, is going to be taking part in it or supporting it. With us on the show again. Hi, David.
Hello, good morning, Andrew.
Tell me a bit more about the circumstances then. I mean, we all know there's a recession on and people are losing their jobs, but you guys really had no idea that things were pretty bad at Nortel and so many people were going to be let go.
Well, we knew it was bad. We were told on the 25th of February that 3,200 people would be laid off globally, that is, in addition to the 1,800 at the end of last year. So that made 5,000 global layoffs. So we knew things were pretty bad. On the 14th of January, Nortel went to do administration with Ernst & Young. And we were told at that time that our contracts were solid, nothing would affect the contracts, and anything that we were entitled to, we would be getting, anybody who went. As it turns out, as you mentioned, the 30th of March, there was a meeting in Maidenhead. I didn't attend that because I'm a home-based worker in Gloucester. So I went on a conference call in the afternoon. But many people who did turn up at that meeting in Maidenhead had no idea that it was a redundancy meeting. They thought it was restructuring of the company.
Right.
So on your way out the door, hand in your IDs and your laptops, and not even a thank you very much for your
wham bam thank one. Not even a wham bam thank you, ma'am.
Some people have been there for over 30 years.
And the fact that people have lost their jobs after a 30-year career in a time when it's difficult to get another one is obviously the big story. But an equally important part of the story is there's no redundancy pay for you guys, and you guys think you deserve it.
Well, there's no redundancy pay, no severance, no notice. We're entitled to 12 weeks notice pay. We're entitled to 90 days consultancy because there was over 99 people made redundant. The 229 people were over Harlow, Maidenhead and Belfast. There's protests in Belfast and London today, and the protest is really to voice the opinion that, you know, we have illegally been made redundant. We are owed our contractual entitlements, and the money we have received is from the UK taxpayer through the government insolvency service.
Sure.
Which is a fraction of what we're owed, of course.
And that's the sort of route the company have taken, which I'll explain in a second. David, thank you for coming on this morning. David used to work for Nortel in Maidenhead. This is a case that's been taken up by the Maidenhead MP, Theresa May. She was with us later. This is what Nortel say. The company entered administration on the 14th of January and remains in administration. The administrators are pursuing their objectives set out in the Insolvency Act, which include attempting to rescue the company as a going concern or achieving a better result for the company's creditors as a whole than would be likely if the company were wound up. After looking at the company, the administrators concluded it wasn't viable to continue operating with the same number of employees as were employed. In particular, the company's high overheads and declining revenues were causing significantly increased losses. In order for the company to survive in the near term, a cost reduction process was necessary. So on the 30th of March, 228 employees were made redundant. This action was in line with restructuring plans already announced by the company, announced in 2008 and reiterated in 2009. The joint administrators appreciate it's a difficult situation for those affected. Those affected say this wasn't the right way of going about it. We should have been given some redundancy pay, and we'll have a bit more on this story later in the show this morning, and then of course a bit later in the day after this protest that's making their point in the middle of London. 7:40.